At its height, the Ottoman Empire stretched from the deserts of Arabia to the gates of Vienna, ruling over millions and shaping the course of world history. It was an empire forged in fire, fueled by ambition, and feared by its enemies. For centuries, it expanded relentlessly, swallowing entire kingdoms, toppling ancient civilizations, and standing as Europe's greatest threat. But how did a small Anatolian tribe rise to challenge the most powerful nations of its time? And why, after centuries of dominance, did it ultimately fall? The Ottomans traced their origins to the rugged steppes of Central Asia, where Turkic nomads roamed for centuries. Fleeing the Mongol invasions, these warriors migrated westward, settling in Anatolia under the banner of the Seljuk Empire. But when the Seljuks collapsed, the region fractured into a patchwork of rival beyliks, each vying for control. Among them was a small but ambitious state led by Osman, a chieftain with a vision. His followers, known as the Ottomans, would carve out an empire unlike anything the world had seen. From the very beginning, the Ottomans were different. They mastered the art of siege warfare, perfected diplomacy through strategic marriages, and embraced a system of governance that absorbed rather than destroyed conquered peoples. Their army, built on discipline and innovation, quickly outmatched its rivals. But their true strength came from the Janissaries, elite soldiers taken as young boys from Christian families, converted to Islam, and trained to be the empire's most loyal and formidable warriors. With each passing decade, the Ottomans pushed further into Byzantine territory, capturing key cities like Bursa and Adrianople. Then came the moment that would shake Christendom to its core, the fall of Constantinople. In 1453, Mehmed II, known as the Conqueror, launched one of the most legendary sieges in history. For weeks, his massive cannons pounded the city's ancient walls, until finally, the once mighty Byzantine capital fell. The Ottomans had cemented their place as a dominant power, and Constantinople became the beating heart of their empire. From there, the Ottomans set their sights on Europe. One by one, the Christian strongholds of the Balkans crumbled before them. Greece, Serbia, Bosnia all fell under Ottoman rule. Their unstoppable march struck fear into European rulers, who struggled to unite against the growing threat. Under the leadership of Suleiman the Magnificent, the empire reached its golden age, expanding deep into Hungary and even besieging Vienna itself. Had they succeeded, the course of European history might have been rewritten entirely. But the Ottomans were not invincible. As their power grew, so too did the resistance against them. The Holy League, a coalition of Christian states, delivered a crushing blow at the Battle of Lepanto in 1571, proving that Ottoman naval supremacy could be challenged. The Siege of Vienna in 1683 marked the empire's final attempt at expansion into Europe, ending in a catastrophic defeat. From that moment on, the Ottomans found themselves on the defensive. Internally, the once mighty empire began to crack. Corruption, succession struggles, and a growing reliance on outdated military tactics weakened its ability to compete with rising European powers. The Industrial Revolution bypassed them, and their once thriving trade routes became obsolete as European merchants sailed around Africa, cutting the Ottomans out of global commerce. As the centuries passed, nationalist movements erupted within the empire, tearing away its territories piece by piece. Greece gained independence, followed by Serbia, Romania, and Bulgaria. The empire, once feared and respected, was now seen as the sick man of Europe. Desperate reforms came too late, and when World War I erupted, the Ottomans made a fateful decision to side with Germany and the Central Powers. Defeat was inevitable. After the war, the victors carved up Ottoman lands, leaving only Anatolia under Turkish control. In the aftermath, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk led a nationalist movement that would finally bring an end to the empire in 1922, paving the way for the modern Republic of Turkey. For over 600 years, the Ottoman Empire shaped the destiny of 3 continents. It was an empire of warriors, scholars, and visionaries, an empire that nearly conquered Europe but ultimately fell to the tides of history. Its legacy, however, still endures, woven into the cultures, traditions, and architecture of the lands it once ruled. Though the Ottoman Empire ceased to exist in 1922, its legacy continued to shape the modern world. The fall of the empire did not happen overnight. It was a slow, painful process marked by war, revolution, and the struggle for national identity. The end of Ottoman rule left behind a vast power vacuum, as new nations emerged from the remnants of the once great empire. But what happened next? How did the empire's collapse lead to the birth of modern Turkey and reshape the Middle East, the Balkans, and North Africa? After World War I, the Treaty of Sèvres in 1920 sought to dismantle the Ottoman lands entirely, handing vast territories to European powers. The British and French carved up the Middle East, drawing arbitrary borders that would fuel future conflicts. Greece attempted to seize western Anatolia, sparking the Greco-Turkish War. Meanwhile, in the heart of what remained of the Ottoman lands, a new leader emerged, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. Ataturk was no ordinary general. He was a visionary, determined to resist foreign occupation and build a new nation from the ashes of the empire. Under his leadership, Turkish nationalists waged a brutal war against Greek and allied forces, ultimately reclaiming Anatolia. In 1923, the Treaty of Lausanne officially recognized the Republic of Turkey, marking the final nail in the coffin of the Ottoman Empire. But Ataturk did more than just win a war. He transformed Turkey into a modern, secular state. The Sultanate was abolished, the Caliphate dismantled, and sweeping reforms reshaped every aspect of Turkish society. He introduced a new legal system, replaced the Arabic script with the Latin alphabet, and pushed for industrialization. Islam, which had been the foundation of the Ottoman government for centuries, was separated from the state. Turkey was no longer an empire, it was a republic built on the principles of nationalism, modernization, and progress. Beyond Turkey, the former Ottoman provinces experienced upheaval. The Middle East, once a cohesive part of the Ottoman world, became a patchwork of artificial states under British and French rule. Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine were placed under European mandates, with little regard for the ethnic and religious tensions within them. These divisions sowed the seeds of future conflicts, many of which persist to this day. In the Balkans, former Ottoman territories struggled to find stability. The collapse of Ottoman rule had already led to nationalist uprisings in Serbia, Greece, and Bulgaria, but the 20th century would bring even greater turmoil. The region became a battleground during both world wars, and later, the Yugoslav wars of the 1990s would once again redraw the borders of the Balkans, proving that the echoes of Ottoman rule had not been forgotten. Even in North Africa, the Ottoman withdrawal left a power struggle. Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya, which had once been under Ottoman rule, fell into European hands. These territories would fight their own wars of independence in the mid-20th century, breaking free from colonial rule but struggling with internal divisions. Despite the empire's fall, Ottoman culture, architecture, and traditions remained deeply ingrained in the lands it once ruled. The grand mosques of Istanbul, the legal codes of former Ottoman lands, and even culinary traditions like baklava and coffee houses serve as reminders of a civilization that once dominated 3 continents. Today, the Ottoman Empire is often viewed through different lenses. Some see it as a golden age of Islamic civilization, others as a colonial power that ruled through force. But one thing is undeniable: its impact shaped the modern world in ways few empires ever have. It was an empire that stood at the crossroads of East and West, of Islam and Christianity, of tradition and innovation. Though it no longer exists, the Ottoman Empire's story is far from over. Its legacy lives on, not only in Turkey but across Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. The empire that almost conquered Europe may be gone, but its influence endures in the nations, cultures, and conflicts of today.